Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Pdyphotography, a professional wedding photographer right here in Ghana. And in today's video, we are going to be answering the top 10 questions that I've received so far. So if you're new here and you know nothing about me, I'm a professional wedding photographer in Ghana, like I've said earlier. And I'm a YouTuber as well. I'm trying to make videos and explain my procedure, my skills, the knowledge I've acquired over the years as a wedding photographer and as an entrepreneur with you guys. So if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. And then if you find this video useful, don't forget to like, share, and then leave a comment in the comment section below. Who knows, your comment may be my next YouTube video. So please rush down there and then leave a comment if you have one. All right, so let's dive right into it. So number one, do I shoot RAW or JPEG? I always shoot both RAW and JPEG. The reason being that I edit the RAW in Lightroom and then maybe for post-processing in Photoshop later, but with the JPEG, I instantly upload to Google Drive as a backup. And if you know me very well, you know that my JPEGs are almost the same as the final edit I produce. So if I download the JPEGs back from Google Drive and I submit to a client, there is like almost no possibility of the client knowing that this image is a JPEG or something. So I upload the JPEGs to Google Drive to keep them safe, and then the RAW is what I work on in Lightroom and then produce as the final product to the client. So I shoot RAW and JPEG. Number two, Lightroom or Capture One Pro. All right, I use Lightroom. I've tried to use Capture One Pro several times, but I've not been able to use it that well. I feel like the catalogs are too big and they are taking a lot of spaces on the computer. So I decided to stay with the Lightroom. And in Lightroom too, I edit like all weddings like differently. So if it is Kofi and Amma, their catalog is different. Josephine and this, their catalog is different. The reason being that if one gets corrupt, at least I have another one. So I don't put all my files together. But with Capture One Pro, maybe I have not tried that much to learn how to use it properly. But that is what I think. I think that it is a little too difficult for me to understand, and then it takes too much space. That's why I use Lightroom. Number three, full frame or crop sensor. So I shoot on the full frame, and I'll choose a full frame over crop sensor any day, anytime. The reason being that with full frame, you get a wider field of view. Like if this is full frame, this will be crop sensor. I don't know how to put it. So if you are shooting on a 50mm and you are getting this view, when I put the same 50mm on a crop sensor, I'll be getting something like this. You get it. All right. So I choose the full frame always over the crop sensor. And another big reason is because the sensor is bigger, the ISO sensitivity is better. So if you are shooting at a higher ISO, on a full frame, the images are a lot cleaner than if you are shooting the same ISO on a crop sensor. So I prefer full frame. But if you are beginning or depending on the type of photography you do, a crop sensor will do the job just well. You just have to know how to use your equipment properly. Number four, mirrorless or DSLR. I've not been able to mention it like properly over all this period. So DSLR. Mirrorless or DSLR. Let's take it like that. I used to shoot DSLR, so I started with the Nikon D3200 and I came to 5300, then 5500, and I graduated to a full frame, which was Nikon D750. Then Nikon released mirrorless cameras, and then I switched to mirrorless, and I've loved it so far. In fact, I'm recording this video on a mirrorless camera, and all my equipment are now mirrorless cameras. Which camera do you use? Okay, so as you already know, I use a mirrorless camera. I have the Z6, which is my go-to camera for pictures and mostly for videos as well. In fact, I'm recording on a Nikon Z6 right now. I also have a Nikon Z5. But for the purpose of photography, I always use the Nikon Z6. So, number six, prime or zoom lens? All right. This one is a little difficult to answer because both of them serve different purposes. I like to shoot on a prime lens, preferably on the 85mm 1.8. That is my go-to lens any day, anytime, provided the the conditions available will allow me to use a focal length of 85. But then again, I have other zoom lenses like the 24-70, which of course I'm using to record this video. It's a Tamron G2, and then I have a 70-200 G2, which is also a Tamron. Like I said earlier, either of them, whether prime or zoom, they all serve different purposes. But I would always prefer to shoot on a prime lens. So if I can choose a prime lens at that particular point in time, I'll choose a prime lens any day, anytime. Number 7, what lenses do you use? So I've already given out one. My favorite is the 85mm 1.8. I've used it like maybe 90% of the time if I'm shooting a wedding. I use the 24-70 Tamron G2, then 70-200, which is my least used lens because I don't like carrying heavy equipment around. So it's always in the bag for like 2 years now. I've used it like maybe 3 times or so. I have 50mm 1.8, and then I have a manual lens, Nikon 55 f2.8, which I use for macro shots. So those are my lenses: 24-70, 70-200, 85mm, and then 50mm 1.8. Those are the lenses I use for photography, to be specific. Number 8, manual mode or auto. I always shoot in manual. From the very first time I got the camera, and then I searched on YouTube how to use a professional camera, the first thing I learned was you should always shoot in manual. Fine, at that time, I understood it as professionals are supposed to shoot in manual, and of course, it is good to shoot in manual as a professional, but then again, there are people shooting maybe aperture priority, auto, or something like that, any form of automatic settings, but that depends on them. If it works for you, it works for you. But in my case, I always shoot manual. So manual any day, anytime. Number 9, manual or auto white balance. With this one, I don't know whether I am lazy or I'm just used to it, but I always shoot in automatic white balance. When I go to Lightroom, then I correct it. Most of the time, the results are perfect. Like more than 90% of the time, the camera's auto white balance is very good. So I don't need to be going up and down, switching between like presets or Kelvin values and all this stuff. So I just stick with my auto white balance, and that's it. I'm done. If you use manual, congratulations. Hopefully one day, I'll also learn it and then be like you. So the last question, so natural light or off-camera flash. If you follow me a lot, you realize that most of my pictures are natural light photos. I like to shoot natural light most of the time. I don't like using artificial light. And even if I'm shooting with artificial light, mostly it is just a flash on top of the camera. For like 2-3 years now, I've not carried any softbox to a wedding and then tried to use a softbox to get some pictures or something like that before. And my clients are happy with the images. I'm happy with it. So I think that is all that matters. So guys, that's it for today. Those are the top 10 questions I have received so far. And then I hope my answer helps you in a way. If you found it useful, please share with your friends. And if you have any other questions too as well, I know you have a lot of questions, please leave it in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'll be doing more of these videos. And also I've recorded like 6 BTS behind the scenes of me shooting, and I'll be sharing with you guys. So subscribe so that you don't miss. Turn on the bell notification, share the video, leave a comment if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.